Here's something I can't figure out. Odin wants to prevent Ragnarok, but the serpent's already been there and seen it. So hasn't he already failed? Ragnarok is supposed to be Odin's doom, isn't it?
For it is foretold that someday Skoll and Hoti will catch and devour their prey. And that day shall be Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another God of War video. And this video is going to be focusing on Ragnarok once again, but this might be actual proof that Ragnarok will happen eventually in this new God of War series. So right at the title screen, once you started a game and you quit and you come back, you're greeted with two pieces. Where you have one piece that is Atreus and one piece that is Kratos. These seem similar to what Atreus was playing with when he had the Thor figure. You get two figures here, one of Atreus and one of Kratos. However, the Kratos one is actually a skeleton. It just resembles him. Now, why is Atreus' figure fully formed, however Kratos' figure is somewhat of a skeleton? I will discuss that later on in the video, but let's talk about these figures' possible connections to Ragnarok or post-Ragnarok. So the team took a lot of inspiration for this God of War game from the Prozetta, which is a compilation of stories from Norse mythology. At the end of the book, after Ragnarok, is where I'm going to be focusing on. During the fight in Ragnarok, everybody was pretty much dying. You had the giants and the gods dying together, and then the great Surtur came up and he burned everything. He burned everything in the 9 realms, including Asgard itself. However, the land which Asgard was built on, Idval, will stay. And this is where the surviving Aesir gods will come together. The surviving gods were Modi and Magni, the sons of Thor, Odin's sons, Vidar and Vali, and from the underworld, Balder and Hod will return. So what does these 6 gods have to do with the figures that we see in the title screen? Well, after these 6 come together and after they finish talking about all the events leading up to Ragnarok, and they soon start to discover objects scattered all over the land. Magni was the first to discover one of these objects. This object was a figure of Odin sitting on his chair, the king. They start to find more of them. They found a figure of Thor holding his hammer. They found Hemmingdale with the horn on his lips. They found one of Freya, Odin's wife. Balder finds a figure of himself and he says this figure is him before he died the first time. They then go on to find Surtur, a frost giant, and half buried in black soil is where Loki and his monstrous children all lie together. So my question is, are the pieces that we see in the title screen somehow related to the pieces that the 6 gods find at the end of Ragnarok in real Norse mythology? Of course, there are big differences between real Norse myth that I just explained and the Norse myth that Santa Monica Studios is creating with God of War. See, Balder is dead and I don't think he'll be coming back. Modi and Magni are both dead already. But whatever god survived Ragnarok must have, for some reason, sent these 2 pieces back. Or maybe these 2 pieces are here because they're a reference of what is to come. We already know things like time travel is possible through the World Serpent and what Mimir said about the World Serpent. That the World Serpent was actually knocked back in time due to the battle with it and Thor. It probably was so powerful that it knocked the serpent way back in time, before its own birth. So there is a chance that for some reason the gods who survived Ragnarok sent these pieces back in time. And throughout the game we've gotten so many hints, so many stories of Ragnarok is going to happen, so many things that we found out in game about Ragnarok, and it's destined to happen even though Kratos and Odin both believe that the future can be changed. Now, why is Kratos' figure pretty much a skeleton opposed to Atreus's, which is fully skinned, fully clothed? Now, my theory for this is 2. My first theory is the fact that he's not from here. You know, if you think about it, every other person you encounter, whether it be God, creature, giant, and everything in between, even Atreus, they're all from this mythology. This is their home. If you think about it, Kratos is the only outsider here. He's the only person not native to this land, so perhaps when his figure was created without skin. My second theory is, if you think about it, Kratos' skin, his white ashy skin, is kind of tainted. You know, it's due to a spell, a curse of why his ashes are stuck to his body, so perhaps when his figure was created, it was created without this curse. Perhaps this is Kratos' one way of getting rid of the ash, is in death. But anyways, that's gonna be the end of this video. Do you think that these figures that we see in the title screen when you're starting up the game is connected to Ragnarok based on the events of the end of Ragnarok? Or do you believe that these are just here because the team just wanted to include it? I'm gonna be out of here. Thank you guys for listening, and stay here for more God of War theories. Deuces, guys.